Okay, so here we have it. The battery ran out just now when I was talking about this, doing the battery on the bike. I did try this the last time the battery went dead, about 5 years ago, and I got the tank up so far and just couldn't reach any of the pipes. I had to buy a new battery, which is a 2-part battery. You add the acid, which again I've never done, but that was easy. Taking this thing apart, starting with the fairing. Basically, you take these side panels off. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you've got a couple down here. And they're literally like Zeus clips, whether they're Allen key type. They just pop off with a quarter of a turn, easy as you like. Notice that the coolant is on the lower level, so that'll need to be addressed. And then coming up, when these panels are off, you've got 2 screws in here which hold the front of the tank down, and another one just there. I did take the seat off, although maybe I didn't need to because of the cutout on the seat, but it makes it easier. This seat is literally as thick as that. That's all it is. And I have done, although I haven't ridden this bike a lot, I have done a journey of about 200 miles on it. And I remember rightly, that was where I took it flat out, that went off the clocks. And it is surprisingly comfortable, considering that's all you got, literally ½ inch thick. Yeah, so basically the tank, the battery's right there. It's right there. So I say I had to go at it before, and I must have got the bolts off at the front and lifted up so far, but I couldn't get my hand underneath to get to the, well, it's only the breather pipes you need to get to really. So I put it all back together again. I say that was 5 years ago, so that's how long the battery's lasted. The battery itself was sort of all rippled. It's almost like, I don't know, it's obviously, I don't know what would have done, dried up, whatever, but I thought the new battery was going to be that sort of shape, but it was not. It's flat, so the old battery really has had its day. Yeah, so basically I popped this up on towels, lifted it up, it's all been protected. There is a video on YouTube that shows you how to get the tank off, but there's no voiceover, and it's done so good. It's just all sped up, so it didn't really help me. I got to the same point where as I did before, was where I got everything off, lifted the tank up, put it on towels, couldn't reach the pipes at the back. So this time, I think I don't know if I undid this bolt before, I don't know, but I lifted up enough to wedge it up, but still couldn't get to see where the pipes were. But anyway, so I undone that one, and then I managed to be able to get the tank up, and I managed to actually spin this tank 90 degrees and sit it on towels here. And it did pull off the breather pipe. It's a Y-shaped connector, so there's 2 pipes that come into the tank, and one obviously tees off just for the breather. Well, it came off at the breather at the Y bit, not the bit that goes into the tank, which would have been easy for me to reconnect back up. I just couldn't get them off, so I knew that was going to be a bit of a problem when I actually put the bike back together. So yes, basically got it on its side. The battery was attached with little black ties just to hold the rubbers onto the terminals. So I had to snip them off. I had to go into the garage to get some snips to get that, where the tank was precariously on here. Again, it was alright, everything was right, the fuel pump was fine, the cables and the pipes, all that was fine. So yeah, so I got the battery changed, easy enough. I had to fill it myself, so that was straightforward. And then just putting it back, the only problem I had was obviously attaching the breather pipe. So I had to force it up from the bottom where it comes at exit at the bottom of the bike, just to give me a little bit more play. And finally it went back on. So putting the tank back on, you have to slide it back in, and there was just a little bit of resistance. So I'm hoping that I haven't trapped the pipe, the overflow pipe, the breather pipe, sorry. But that's the only thing I'm a little bit concerned about. It was only a little bit, but hopefully I've started it up. I say it seems fine. So yeah, so it's all ready to go basically. Sounds great. It's gassed me out a little bit. Fuel is right down, so the tank was really light, so I don't think there's any fuel in there at all. On with the clocks again. and you'll see this bike has done 1,810 miles. I thought it was nearer on 2,000, but so I've done 1,100 miles on this bike basically since I've owned it in 2009, I believe I bought it. Basically, I mean, you've got all the racing mode, you've got the battery, I've never used any of this. You've got lap timers, USB, I've got the USB for it somewhere, but again, I've never done a track day on it. Too expensive for me to bin it, so you know, it's all there ready to go. So the next thing is now is trying to get it insured. MCE, good old MCE, quoted me £10,000 for it, so obviously won't be going that way. You know, if I was to insure it for £10,000, I can get it done for £100, but obviously if I get into trouble, then I'm going to lose out. Basically, I put in a 20,000. I think I quote them up at 200 and something pounds, which again, if I'm only going to use it a couple of times a year, I don't mind paying that. Just, you know, just so it's insured. If I put in at 30,000. 2 companies came back, and again it was 8,500 and 10,000 if you did it over, you know, instalments. Good with MCE again. I mean, I initially you know, insured this for 50,000, which is bottom, you know, which is actually bottom price for one of these. So, you know, there's no way I'm paying that. You know, it might be just a case of me insuring it for 20 grand or whatever, just so I can get out on it. So the next thing is the Norton SS, which I'm obviously still waiting for. Good result at the TT, 5th in the last senior race. Got nowhere to put it. The bike shop wants to take this off me and you know, put it in the shop, but again, I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. Yeah, I say this is looking good. It starts well. So the first thing I have to do is get some fuel in it, because it really is on empty now. And it's old fuel in there now. It was 2 years ago since I've ridden this, so so yeah. So the battery went well. So I'm not really a mechanic, but I did it all myself. Not as easy as some bikes, obviously, but it went well. Starts great, and can't wait to get out on it. Cheers.